Go through as many of these as I can really fast so that you get an idea of what I mean, what I'm talking about, and you have a little more understanding like I do. Okay, so just to show a few tools, there's a piece of chipped white glass that I have. Okay, it's chipped on both sides there. Okay, just so that so you see I got a few little tools and so nice little point. And I got a few others. That's just a few. Okay, so if you just remember when you're looking at these, just the head, just the profile. Okay, and so I mean that's clearly a little bear looking off to the left there. You see his nose right here. I mean, these all very clear. You can see him as good as you can an outline drawing of anything. Just the head, just the profile. And you'll see that every one of these is connected to Native Americans. You can't disconnect it from Native Americans, but okay. Bear, the bear head. There's marks all over this rock. I mean, they don't have to be tools. I think they're just doing this to. That's clearly, they're all very clear to see. It's not like they're hard to see. Okay, look like a little eagle, his beak here. Maybe a bear head hid this way, nose over here. You can see the marks all over it just the same. These are the proper rocks they were using. Okay, some little rabbits. There's a little rabbit. I mean, look, and this one is a whole rabbit, but it's in profile. There's a few exceptions on the just the head, just a profile. There's his eye, but for the most part, they're all just the head, just a profile. Another one is a whole rabbit. You can see it's the eye up here. Same thing. Another little rabbit, just the head. Okay. And everyone's a connection with everything here is Native Americans. Okay, here's a woman looking to the left. You see her nose over here. I mean, they're not hard to see. Very easy. It's a bear looking this way. It's a bear. Okay. Nature don't put the multiple faces on rocks. I mean, that's a little bear. As clear as day. That's a bear. Flat on this side. This woman right here, very well done. Look at, you can see her lips. You see her lips right here. Her nose, her eye area. She's got like a feather in her hair right here. That's not natural. There's nothing natural about that. Connection, all the connections, Native American. Okay, you see the one in the background here very clearly. Okay, here's another bear. This is a whole bear, but his profile head is looking sideways. And if let's see that in the middle right there? He's got a fish right in the middle. Most of the marks are done like on the side, shaping this thing here to the shape of the face. I mean, you can. We'll get some close-ups here. Okay, a bear, and then you turn it this way. You can clearly see his eye, his nose, his mouth right here, and he's got like a mohawk going up. Looks kind of like a fierce warrior. Not hard to see. Those are very easy to see. Just the head, just the profile. The connection, Native American. Looks like a Native American. All of these. This one here, I mean, look at all that marks on this rock here. And that was just a simple one. See his big old nose right here, eye area, mouth. You can see the line right there where the mouth is. Very simply, you know. This one here, you can see it looks like a younger Native American. His eye over here, his nose, mouth. He's got a headband right here in the top. And his headband goes across over into the mask of a raccoon. There's the nose, the mask of him right here. And close-ups of these areas right here show scratches going in different directions. So these areas, that's very clear. Those, again, connected and Native American. This one here, I believe to be part of a bowl. You know, it's round. You can see where it broke off right along the, got thin on the bottom. Okay, and this would have been the handle for carrying it very much. And you can clearly see the nose. He's got an eagle headdress on. There's the eye of the eagle, the beak. That's not hard to see. That is clear as day. You know, and this everything here is possible. These designs may not be from this area, but they said they were migrating. History says they were migrating. I mean, right here you can see kind of profile of a girl, her nose right here, going up, and some kind of, I would say a bear headdress, because that's a bear head right there is the nose, forehead, and his ear. Okay, and the bear, you see the bear. Now you look at it over here, that's clearly a bird. You see the eye, the beak is all shaped out. You know, you turn it this way and it's a horse. Nature don't put multiple faces on rocks like that. There's no coincidence about any of this. It's just a few of the ones that I have. I mentioned I have over 100 of them. Okay, and this guy here, very clearly see the solemn look on his face. His nose, he's got a raised headband. I mean, that's a raised headband. And we're going to get some close-ups of this area here. You can see that those are tooling marks. Some of them are quite small. Okay, so, okay, this is like a little bear howling or grunting, or his mouth, his nose. He's got a big eye right here. And that looks a lot like the white glass. It's shaped, you know, and then over on this side, it's chipped up in that area. Okay, and then, you know, you get this little bear. A lot of bears. These are the animals that they respected. We're going to get close-ups of this bear's ear right here because it's very detailed. I mean, but that's clearly a bear. And on this side, you got another bear in 3D. And there's a vein running through it of some rough matrix, and they use that as a fur, it seems like. Very well done piece. Okay, so, I mean, even this little piece right here, this, I mean, that is not even natural. You got marks in between the knuckles. There's no rock that breaks off like that. That would have broke that whole piece off of there. Okay, I'm showing you this one here. You know, all this stuff, all this shaping and all this marks right in here. There's no reason to do all that. Everything was here for this to be like an axe, like a hand axe. You know, and there's plenty of tooling marks all over this thing. But there's no reason to do that, all this work right here for all this stuff around this so-called mouth and everything. That's a guy right there. Looks like a guy with a beard. And like I said, wearing maybe a coonskin hat. Very nice piece. I mean, there was no reason to do all that chipping and flaking and all in here because they didn't need to do all that. That's the reason they did it was for the face. And it's very clearly a face. It stands up on its own, like many of these pieces do. I think a nice shelf piece. I would have liked to seen that bowl here completed all the way. It would look nice with the two handles. Okay, now we're going to get some close-ups of some marks here. All right, so like that little bear, like I said, let's see. Let's look at his little ear. There's nothing natural about that ear the way it was done. A lot of these marks are real tiny, you know. You can see that. Okay, let's turn him over and look around this side. But I mean, everything here connects with Native American people. And in the 1800s, they were around. I don't think these are ancient. I think these are as close to maybe even 1920s up to there. Okay, let's look at this other guy with the raised headband. Okay. All around that raised headband area. Those are tooling marks. I mean, those are definitely scars, flaking scars. Come down here to a solemn look on his mouth. And that mark made right there. I mean, there's nothing natural about any of this stuff. And I believe these were done with metal tools. I seriously do. They had skills. These were very skilled people, I'm sure. Okay, let's look at another little bear here. Then we'll be good here. A little bear. So let's see about. It's hard to keep it focused on that. But I mean, with so many of these, I want to know, why are they just a head? Why just a profile? Why do they look like Native Americans? Or why do the animals only the ones that they would have seen and that they respect? There's just too many questions going on that need to be answered. This is not what you can't use coincidence over and over. Okay, these are all flaking scars. Okay, let's look all over that big face that he has here. That look at all the marks here. That the mouth area. So there's nothing here that you can use to disconnect these with Native Americans. The only thing they have in common is Native American. Why do they look like Native Americans? Well, who else should they look like, right? So, I mean, you can see where my questions are viable. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video.